Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing.
Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 516 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. How's it going out there? I hope this episode finds you happy and healthy. I mean, life just seems to be flying by for me. I don't know if that is the case for you, but it really does. And that's why I think we have to make sure that we're just making the most of every day and being present with whoever we're with, whether it's family or friends or coworkers, and just being the best that we can be. Because it is all up to us how life goes. I read a quote this week: "The world is a looking glass and gives back to every man the reflection of his own face. Frown at it, and it will look sourly upon you. Laugh at it, and it's a jolly kind of companion." William Thackeray said that, and I feel like it's a secret we all should know. It came from the book, The Laws of Life. I've talked about that a lot if you've been listening, and I've been trying to finish it, and this week I have almost succeeded, but every time I pick it up, I remember why I love it. There was a story I read yesterday about twin brothers who went to their 20-year high school reunion. One went as a successful writer, and the other has failed miserably at life, and everything he did, he just kept failing. And when friends asked the successful twin what he attributed his success to, his first and foremost answer was, "My parents." Now, I think that's kind of a funny story, obviously, because those parents were the same parents to his twin brother. He says so much in life is what we make of it, and how our attitude matters more than what we've been given. I mean, opportunities show up partly based on what we expect. If we expect for things to be unfair and life is against me and I was never given a leg up, so of course I'm a failure. If you have that attitude, that's all coming true for you. That's part of the laws of life. And we all experience life. Every one of us has good things happen, and every one of us has not so good things happen. Our attitude about it is ultimately what matters. And if you've been listening for a while, you know that my husband is a pilot, and over the last 7 months, he hasn't been able to fly because he lost his medical due to a heart condition. He had AFib. Now, he got it fixed, and he has just, over the last 7 months to me, I've been so proud because he's changed so much about what he's doing. And I actually have an update for you. He flew for the first time in 7 months just this week, and he was a little bit apprehensive about it. As you can imagine, anytime you haven't been doing something for 7 months and you get back into it. But it went really well. He said he felt a little rusty, but overall he felt right back at home. Now, I couldn't be happier for him. I wish I could explain how I felt about this whole experience, like from finding out he had AFib to now where he's back flying, because it was so scary, and there were moments when I was worried and he was worried, of course, because we're human. But I really feel like we came out of it stronger individually and also as a couple. I mean, we weathered every up and down and just kept knowing. We just knew for sure that things were working in our favor, and they always did. Honestly, we needed that wake-up call because we had gotten a little bit lax in areas. But instead of letting it get us down, we actually rallied together and we made big changes in our life, like our eating out and drinking and our exercise. Erica's even now going to the sauna, which has gotten me back in there as well. I'd kind of gotten a little bit slack. You know, we've grown so much from this. Now, I don't look back on the 7 months and think negatively about it. I actually look back and think it made us stronger and it brought us closer together. And we realized that no external thing is bigger than us individually or together. I mean, we can always rise above our circumstances if we choose to, and so can you. You know, no one thing can take you down. There's not one thing that can permanently take you down unless you let it. I read an article that was also quoted in The Laws of Life this week, and it tells of an Irish uprising in 1848 in which there were 9 men captured, tried, and convicted of treason against Her Majesty Queen Victoria. Now, all of them were sentenced to death. But there were passionate protests from all over the world, and that persuaded the queen to commute the death sentences. Well, the men they were not killed, but they were banished to Australia, a place as remote and full of prisoners as Russian Siberia was later. Now, many years passed, and in 1874, which was like 26 years later, Queen Victoria learned that a Sir Charles Duffy, who had been elected Prime Minister of Australia, was the same Charles Duffy who had been banished some 26 years earlier. She talked to him and she asked him what had become of the other 8 convicts, and learned that 2 had become brigadier generals of the U.S. Army. 1 was Attorney General for Australia. 1 was the next Attorney General after he retired. 1 became the Minister of Agriculture for Canada. 1 was elected governor of Montana. 1 became a prominent New York politician, and 1 was the governor of Newfoundland. Come on. I love that story. You see, what happens to us on the journey of life is not nearly as important as how we handle what happens to us. Life sometimes takes unexpected twists and turns that'll throw us off course for a little while, maybe even for a long while. The key, though, is to learn from those experiences, good and bad, and go on from there. And we can try to move forward and create a life we really love in spite of the falls we may have had. But it doesn't happen. It's not going to happen without an attitude of being willing to move forward in spite of it all. Now, I often think about the idea of a rut. You don't like being in the rut, but it's what you know. So you stay there in that rut, heading exactly where that rut is heading without ever leaving it because it's safe. Or you take the bounce that you know is coming if you get out of the rut. You know it's going to take more effort than you're currently giving. But once you get out of that rut, the world is your oyster. That rut is no longer your prison. You've changed your own life. So many choose to stay in the rut because it's safe. My challenge to you this week is to ask yourself what the mirror of your life is showing you. Our attitude matters more than any circumstance. Life is working in your favor. You just have to keep looking for how. Share this with 3 people who deserve to live a happy life. I love you guys. I'll talk to you in a few days.
Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.